Blue skies, clean air, clean rivers, sighting stars. Who doesn't love these changes? But the question is, how can we maintain these changes? Environmental gains have come at a huge cost, the dipping of the global economy along with hardships to many. The lockdown is not a lasting solution to get long-term environmental gains. Most of us will not like to see such gains at the expense of our jobs and livelihood. More you enjoy the ecological benefits, more those suffering the economic pain will complain. Nevertheless, the good part is that the lockdown has not only opened our eyes but also has given us confidence that it is possible to reverse the effects of ecological destruction if everyone works together. People have exhibited that when required, we are capable enough to quickly adopt to stricter laws. However, it is important to keep in mind that if at the end of the lockdown, everyone, like the race horses, rushes out of the gates to make up for lost time, then surely all the environmental gains will be wiped out in no time. I'm sure many of us won't want to do that. Would we? As the quarantine restrictions are slowly being lifted in phases, the economic activity will take some time to revive. The pace of revival will differ from place to place, and we might get to enjoy the ecological benefits for some more time. When the city air is clear, many of us are happy that the ecology has changed, maybe because many of us think, oh, it's all changing because I didn't start my car today. Well, that is not how things work towards cleaning up the ecosystem. Us talking about the clean city air because we did not start our cars today is civic change and not an ecological one. We have destroyed about 50% of the global forests and ruined the biodiversity of the world, which is causing things to fall apart. A lot will have to be done at various levels and stages by individuals, corporates, governments, and all the other big or small organizations. In this video, we have compiled some of the solutions which would go a long way in helping the environment. Stimulus programs or economic packages are being worked out by most of the countries for jump-starting their economies. The cost of these runs into billions of dollars for many countries and even trillions for some. Unfortunately, some of these countries in a hurry to boost their economies are doing so at the cost of damaging the ecosystem by relaxing the environmental norms by setting up industries and reviving development projects. This, for our environment, is a terrible news. Policies and investments by governments should start supporting cleaner transport, energy-efficient housing, clean power generation, and better municipal waste management, since these pointers can effectively reduce key sources of air and water pollution. COVID relief packages should be invested in green economy instead of a brown economy that largely depends on environmentally destructive forms of activity, especially to do with use of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. A major chunk of money instead may be provided to boost green technologies and therefore in turn used for jumpstart these industries to generate jobs. Clean energy should be at the heart of economic stimulus packages to ensure a green recovery. There is no doubt that the economic activity levels will be low for a few years, which will automatically reduce the consumption of power. The International Energy Agency said the outbreak of COVID-19 would wipe out demand for fossil fuels by prompting a collapse in energy demand, much more than the collapse caused by the global financial crisis in 2009. The steady rise of renewable energy, along with its dropping costs when combined with the crash in demand for fossil fuels, means that clean energy could play its largest role ever in the global energy supply and erase almost a decade's growth of global carbon emissions. There would be no better time than now to close old and polluting power plants. Sweden, following Belgium and Austria, has become the third European nation to transition away from coal by successfully shutting its last remaining coal-fired power plant. The government would also need to set very ambitious time-bound deadlines for automobile and vehicle manufacturers to phase out conventional vehicles and start bringing in electric vehicles. People have taken a note of dramatic improvement in the air quality since lockdown and would be motivated enough to opt for cleaner transportation. When a large percentage of the vehicle produced would be electric, automatically the prices will fall. Corporates can play a very big role by changing the way in which people work and travel for business. Working from home during lockdown is kind of an experiment on a giant scale, and in many cases it seems to be working well. A lot of employees as well as companies have started to see the benefits of working from home. For employees, it means spending less time on commuting and more time with family. For companies, it brings down the rental charges, electricity, air conditioning, and other costs as well. Overall, it costs lesser to company with higher productivity for the employee. COVID-19 has prompted businesses and industries to adopt virtual meetings. Even those who have been doing business in a conventional manner with the least use of technology have managed to get hooked up to virtual meetings and conferences after the lockdown. Unnecessary travel could translate to lower costs for the companies and would be better for the environment. Like we keep saying again and again, individuals have a very big role to play. We have compiled a list of things and activities which can make us live more sustainable lives. You can find the link in the description. In the next part of this video series, we will cover solutions for water management, waste management, finding alternatives for products that damage the environment, and most importantly, we will talk about the role of education for creating environmental awareness.